Today is May the 8th. What did the crowd want? Well, let's find out together as we read here. First, we're going to read from Mark 6, 53 to 56. When they had crossed over, they came to land at Gennesaret and moored the boat. When they got out of the boat, people at once recognized him and rushed about the whole region, began to bring the sick on mats to wherever they heard he was. Wherever he went, into villages or cities or farms, they laid the sick in the marketplaces and begged him that they might touch even the fringe of his cloak. All who touched it were healed. Then, from the book of John, the next day, we're reading in John 6:22. The next day, the crowd that had stayed on the other side of the sea saw that there had only been one boat there. They also saw that Jesus had not gotten into the boat with his disciples, but that his disciples had gone away alone. Some boats from Tiberias came near the place where he had eaten the bread after the Lord had given thanks. So when the crowd saw that neither Jesus nor his disciples were there, they themselves got into the boats and went to Capernaum looking for Jesus. When they found him on the other side of the sea, they said to him, "Rabbi, when did you come here?" That's all the farther we're going to read there. It's interesting, in the book of Mark, Jesus crosses the sea and he begins to do what he had been doing before, healing those who needed healing. The book of John says, but the crowd who had eaten the bread in the desert, they crossed too. They saw that Jesus didn't get into the boat with the disciples, but when they got to Capernaum, they found Jesus there. And they said, "Lord, when did you get here?" Well, Jesus answers, "You know what? I tell you, you look for me not because you saw the signs, but because you ate your fill of the loaves." Jesus' answer is that you are only looking for what you can get from me. You are not truly looking to follow me. You're interested in materialism in the Old Testament. There's promises that God will provide. But let's look at what Solomon says in the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 25, to chapter 22, verse 16.
Proverbs 21, verse 25 through Proverbs 22, verse 16. The craving of the lazy person is fatal, for lazy hands refuse to labor. All day long the wicked covet, but the righteous give and do not hold back. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination, how much more when brought with evil intent. A false witness will perish, but a good listener will testify successfully. The wicked put on a bold face, but the upright give thought to their ways. No wisdom, no understanding, no counsel can avail against the Lord. The horse is made ready for the day of battle, but the victory belongs to the Lord. Proverbs 22. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches, and favor is better than silver and gold. The rich and the poor have this in common: the Lord is the maker of them all. The clever see danger and hide, but the simple go on and suffer for it. The reward for humility and fear of the Lord is riches and honor and life. Thorns and snares are in the way of the perverse, the cautious will keep far from them. Train children in the right way, and when old they will not astray. The rich rule over the poor, but the borrower is the slave of the lender. Whoever sows injustice will reap calamity, and the rod of anger will fail. Those who are generous are blessed, for they share their bread with the poor. Drive out a scoffer, and strife goes out. Quarreling and abuse will cease. Those who love a pure heart and are gracious in speech will have the king as a friend. The eyes of the Lord keep watch over knowledge, but he overthrows the words of the faithless. The lazy person says, "There is a lion outside. I shall be killed in the streets." The mouth of a loose woman is a deep pit. He with whom the Lord is angry falls in it. Folly is bound up in the heart of a child, but the rod of discipline drives it far away. Oppressing the poor in order to enrich oneself and giving to the rich will lead only to loss.
Just before this passage in Proverbs 15, verse 16, better is a little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble with it. Then several times in the passage that we read, Solomon tells us that materialism, the desire for possessions, for wealth, that comes with problems. Many sought riches in the Old Testament to their detriment. Here in the New Testament, these people were looking for what they wanted Jesus to do for them, not for what Jesus wanted to do for them. And Jesus recognized it. This begins a series of very difficult teachings and many who walked away from him. What do we do about this today? We learn to be content with what we have. Scripture reading from the New Revised Standard Version by Emily Herrera. Once a week, New Hope Church will upload its sermon from the previous Sunday, just the sermon. You can find it on our YouTube channel, New Hope Church Greenwood IN, or any of our podcast channels.